Hi guys, it's Michael, and I just wanted to jump in on this live today and share about a friend of mine's product that she's developed, and it's called Spleash, and it's pretty incredible. So if you have a dog and you walk your dog all the time, and you carry that water bottle and all those other gimmicks. You need to look at this one piece because it's called Spleash, and it's actually a device that attaches to your own leash and actually holds your um, water for your pet. It holds. It also allows you to wash your pet's feet off before you get in. It has a little spray gun, and it has a lot to offer. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and just jump in here real quick, get my comments going. Let's go here with the private chat. We have that. Okay, let's do this. Do it live. Perfect. Hi, guys. And here is Carrie right now. Let's go ahead and add her to the stage. Hello, darling.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I was just started off just kind of introducing you before you got on here. Everyone, as I was mentioning, this is my friend Carrie, and she has put some incredible time and energy into this incredible invention that she has, and it's called the Spleash. And she went live last night on Amazon's Buy It Now, and it's such a great episode to watch her and her daughter just discuss and share the magic behind Spleash. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carrie and allow her to introduce herself and just let's touch on Spleash for a few minutes and just share with the audience what you have and what made you come up with the ideas and what are all the benefits that you're seeing with it that you didn't even realize was going to come with it. So
Yeah.
Carrie.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. So my dog, which I don't know if she's in the front chair. She is a 95-pound black lab Weimaraner mix and boundless energy. We live in San Diego. It's usually warm. I kept leaving to go walk the dogs, and I'd get a couple blocks away and realize, oh, I forgot the water. So we'd trek back to the house, and she'd get all disappointed thinking the walk was over. And I just wanted to stop that from happening. So I thought if you could have a water bottle become the leash handle, then you're not going to forget the water. About almost 6 years ago now, which is kind of crazy to think about. But
Wow.
yeah, end of 2018 was when I thought of the idea. And then, so this is where we are now. This is the actual Spleash. And as I said, it's a spray leash handle. It becomes the handle of any standard size rope, leather, or nylon leash. You just push the two buttons on the sides. Right there. And it releases this little rolly ball leash trapper, for lack of a better word. And rope leashes fit in here, as well as just a standard flat leash. And you pinch the two metal things like on a toilet paper roll holder, and then you pop it in, and there you go. You're all set. You've got your leash attached, sturdy, strong, ready to go. You fill it up right here with 12 ounces of water, and then you flip open the cup and squirt water in to give them a quick drink if you're out on the go. Or if they need a whole bunch of water, you pull the plug, open the cup, and it flows out, but it doesn't overflow because it's pressurized inside. And give your dog a drink, and then you're off traveling again. Or your daughter, if that's how they like to.
Right, exactly. I know you work so closely with your daughter, so yeah. I can understand where you're like, okay, you need some water, you need to cool down for a second, right? Exactly. So you kind of teased me along the way that you were doing something. You really kept it under the guise of what you were doing per the show's request. But last night, we all got a chance to see what you've been up to, and it was really fun watching you on the show last night, and you and Kat, and just your story, and the success that you had on the show last night was really, I mean, I adore you. I love you. And I just love seeing your, progression with everything that you've been doing. You've been nonstop with this. I know that we've been kind of like, guys, I met Carrie probably about 4 years ago. Was it now?
Yeah, I think
Probably.
so.
Yeah, we met, and it was at Super Zoos that we met, or was it? No, it was on. No, it was like 5 years ago. It was actually on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I met Carrie on Clubhouse. I used to do all these rooms, and she was so cute. She would always be in my audience, listening to all the different pet parents, and I'd drag her up on stage every once in a while, and she'd be up there just sharing what she was up to. And lo and behold, what she's up to is just amazing, you guys. If you guys have a dog and you've come across that issue of like having to carry your water bottle and carry, all these different things. This is like one stop fits all. And one of the nice things about it is like what Carrie, I think you lightly touched on it, but you really didn't get into is like the spray bottle feature. What prompted the spray bottle feature so that you have that?
Well, Lola again prompted that. She is dog aggressive, and it's challenging for us to walk in our neighborhood. There's lots of people always out walking their dogs. And I mean, I became an expert at sort of search and evasion, trying to, find cars that were parked to stand behind so other dogs could pass on the other side of the street. And it got to be just stressful, to say the least. But there are a lot of really nice, friendly dogs in the neighborhood that their owners, allow them in their front yard, and they don't have a fence or something like that. So we'll come walking up, and then this, cute, adorable, really friendly dog comes racing over, and Lola is just beyond upset about that. And I know that if you spray an animal in the face with water, one of the first things they'll do is shake their head. So it'll buy you a little bit of time. Hopefully it freaks them out and they turn around and go back home. And so I thought if we could keep other dogs away from Lola, that would be a really good thing for both parties, right? No other nice, sweet dog is going to get hurt by Lola. I mean, I don't know if she would really, I think she's all bark and no bite, but I don't want to find out.
Right. Usually they are, but you never know. You never know what's behind that bark. Every once in a while,
Yeah.
and you don't know. It depends on their mood for the day too, because there's some days we all have a big bark that we don't bite, but there's some days I know I feel like biting.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really born out of a way to keep safe distance between your dog and another off leash animal. And so it does spray 14 feet. So that does give you enough, if you're on a 6-foot leash, you have another couple of feet to connect with that other dog. And hopefully, again, it will turn around, run away. At minimum, it'll shake head. So if you have a smaller dog, you can scoop it up and hopefully keep it safe. I always do say it's probably not going to phase Cujo if Cujo happened to be running up at you. In which case there's other things you could do, like start swinging this thing around from the end.
Right.
If you had to, because while it, we get comments sometimes it looks bulky, but this does hold 12 ounces of water. So it's about the same as a, standard size soda bottle that they sell. And it weighs 8 ounces when it's empty. So it's 20 ounces full. And if you had to swing it at somebody, it would hurt. So last resort, you have something else that you could use to help keep your dog safe.
Well, I just, I loved it last night when you were on the show, and I know you've been so excited to talk about it. What was your favorite? And once again, for people that are joining us now, this is Carrie. She's the founder and genius behind Spleash, and Spleash is a all-in-one water and leash holder for your dog. So you have it, and it actually has a little cup on it that you can fill up to give your dog water when they get thirsty. And it also has the device where you can actually spray. So like, even like if they just walk through, so right there, she's showing you right there, there's your little dish that you fill up. And you know, you don't have to carry that extra water bottle. But also, the whole thing with the spray is actually fantastic because you know, I was visiting with a friend of mine, and I gifted him one of the leashes that Carrie had given me, and because they had just moved into this neighborhood, and the neighborhood is known for coyotes.
Mm.
And you know, like Carrie and I have spoke about, is like coyotes are they hate water. So just to have that extra set of defense with you as you're walking, if you live in a neighborhood that has wild animals, it's just something else that can help you in that time of need if you need it. Carrie, when you were on the show, so Carrie was just on Amazon. They've got a new show out. It's called Buy It Now, and I think it gets released every Wednesday night with a new episode. And there's usually like 3 to 4 people that have had these incredible ideas that come on the show, and then there's a panel of 3 judges, and they evaluate they get Carrie gets 90 seconds. Let's talk about the 90 seconds really quick. How did you feel about like when you and Kat were practicing for the 90 seconds? I mean, you guys nailed it, but it's just like I was just watching it and I was watching the clock and I was watching you. First, I have to ask, did they have a clock that you can see where your seconds were?
Yes, they had a clock and we could see where the seconds were. And when we finished, we saw 88 up on the screen and we were really confused because we started with 90 seconds and it was counting down. I'm like, it's back up at 88. They really didn't explain to the contestants what the audience was going to be doing. They just said they're going to be watching your pitch. They didn't really say that, all these lights were going to go up in front of them and then the counter of how many people would buy the product would show up. So that was really exciting and like I said, a little bit confusing because we weren't clear. We thought something happened with the counter and it stopped at 88 seconds and we didn't know if we went over. I mean, to be honest, when you're coming out in front of a live studio audience of 100 people plus some very well-known judges, uh, just standing upright and speaking words was challenging. Making sure I didn't pass out. That was my primary concern. So keeping track of everything we had to say and then what the numbers on the screen were and all the cameras and everything, it was just a lot happening. So when they said, "Oh my gosh, you got 88 people in the audience who would buy your product," I'm like, "Okay, yes, that's great. That's great feedback. I love it." And then you had to have 10 at least to speak to the panel of judges. And I think that's where I was super excited to have the panel that we had. Tony Hawk was one of the judges. I didn't know this at the time, but his dog is also named Lola. That's our dog Lola, the
I saw that.
inspiration
Yeah.
for the product. And it was really fun to hear how, he skateboards around with a can of liquid death and then and then a bowl, and he doesn't like having to deal with that. So Spleash is like the perfect solution for him. Was really excited about that.
Well, yeah, because like when I asked you yesterday about what you were expecting and all that. So what happens, you guys on the show is like they didn't tell Carrie and Kat is her daughter, when they came out that there was going to be 100 people there as well as the judges. So when they first came out, all of a sudden, I can imagine you walk out and all of a sudden you look up and you see like these 100 people looking at you. You're like, oh no, what is this about? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I was just picturing sort of the normal, the way the set looks on Shark Tank, like just the 3
Yep.
judges and some kind of set. But they were great. We had a nice little dog park set, and they did bring in a professional dog trainer and a dog for us to demonstrate with. His name was Mac, and Mac was just the dog was a yellow lab, and I just feel like there's this, I don't know, string of yellow labs that go through our lives that have great meaning for my daughter and I, and having Mac there was just like, that was perfect. He did everything perfectly too. He drank on cue, and he was just such a good boy. But it was very intimidating walking out into all of that. And like I said, staying upright, not passing out, deep breathing, and not forgetting any of the lines. That was the hardest part because we did have, 90 seconds to get our pitch out. And, I was trying so hard not to forget anything. And the way we constructed it, because my daughter has just a fantastic, almost, what do you call those memories?
Photogenic. Yeah.
Photogenic memory. I thought for sure she would remember every part of the script and I would forget some stuff. So we gave more lines for her to say than for me to say on purpose,
I love that.
just so I wouldn't flub it. But it worked out
Well,
really well. And I think we had time to spare, which wasn't all of the rehearsals we did were really close to around the 90 seconds. But I think you just get a little more frantic and panicky when you're, live. So that we did finish early and the pitch went well, obviously. So I just
yeah, the pitch was great. And you guys, it's like if you haven't seen the show, you guys want to, if you have Amazon, sign on to Amazon, look for Buy It Now, and it's a new TV show. They've got like 8. I think yours was season 8 or episode 8.
No, ours was episode 12. So there's
12. Okay.
Yeah, there's actually 13 episodes. So they all dropped yesterday. Or what day is today? Thursday. Yeah, yesterday on the 11th. So they're all out now. And if you go to Amazon to do shopping, it's Buy It Now, and you go see the Buy It Now store. All of the contestants whose products met the judges' requirements and the audience requirements are on the Buy It Now store for shopping. So, and you can go and listen to the entrepreneur stories and see about their product and watch the show and see what the judges thought about it too. I think it's incredible market research for any entrepreneur who wants to know, like, is my product, does it have legs? Is it something people are interested in buying? Is the market ready for it? Does it really fit the need? All of those questions can be answered by doing a show like this. So I really hope it. I don't know what their plans are. I think there are signups for the next season. So hopefully the next season goes well for everybody and takes off and we get more viewers.
Well, and like you said, it's like such a great place for entrepreneurs, but it's also like for people that are in the chat that are just going to see this after the fact, is like, it's really something to go check out, because like that was one of the things, because once Carrie told me about the show, and we kind of like trudge along in all these different events that we do together, and we're always seeing each other in different, whether it's, at an event at a park in San Diego, or if it's like a convention center in Las Vegas, we're always running into each other, and we're always sharing time together on stage like this. And we're kind of like trudging buddies through our product. And one of the things I noticed is like, I always like to get the full grip of the whole situation. So I started watching, all the episodes before yours was released, and I started seeing so many different incredible products that you would never know that was out there unless you were to watch this, because they're new. They're the products that are necessary in our world today that we don't know that are out there yet, because they just are they're being given birth, in the last few years. And one of the other products that I just fell in love with there, and I don't know if you've watched all the episodes, but there was this lady that she used to be a nurse, and she came up with this little kit for CPR.
Oh yeah, CPR reps.
Yep, CPR rep, and that just like, that was one that actually tugged on my personal nerves. I was just like, oh my god, how special! Every school needs to have one of these. Every hospital needs to have one of these. And it's just like Carrie's leash. Every dog owner should have one of these. You should have this for your gear, your box for your dogs, because you never know when your dog's going to get thirsty, especially in the hot days of summer. Or or if they step in something, you've got the sprayer there. You can even clean off their paw if they stepped in the wrong puddle or whatever before they get into the house. So the mindset behind these entrepreneurs entrepreneurs with these new products are just incredible. So if you guys want to see something different, something new, maybe something that you've always thought about that you wish you could have, you might find it on this Shop It Now, because that's what I feel like Amazon's doing, is they're really digging in and defining these really brilliant entrepreneurs that are bringing, products to the market that are so useful and are going to help us just move forward with our everyday life and just have a safer life with our pets. I mean, I noticed there was a lot of pet products on there, and then, and when I saw you on there with yours, it's like, and not everybody gets 88 people raising their hands. Some of them, they're
It went up after that. It went up to 92, which
yeah,
I think we were I'll have to re-watch the scoring of all the episodes and see, but I don't know that too many went up after you told the price. That was also a twist they didn't really tell us about. You went through, you did your pitch, they asked a couple questions, and then they said, okay, well, here's the rub. Tell the audience what the price is, and they get to change the vote. So it went from 88 from the initial pitch to 92 after we told everybody what the price was. So that was really exciting. So we ended up with 92 out of 100 people would buy the product. And I just feel like, it's incredible validation for all the hard work we've done to bring the product to this point, to have that kind of, focus group recorded and answer their questions. And they asked a lot more questions than ended up on the show. It was really just amazing to have that kind of resources available to somebody who doesn't have the finance. I always say I'm a puppy stage company because we really are just super tiny. It's me and my daughter. We have a couple of people who help us with different things on a contract basis, but it's just, a mother-daughter team trying to make it. And to make it in e-commerce today, you can strike gold with like the perfect product timed at the perfect time with a perfect viral video and everything set up, and get somewhere. But if you don't have the stars align in that exact way, it takes a tremendous amount of resources to get enough people to your website so that you can get the traction you need to keep the business moving in the right direction. So this show gives entrepreneurs who really are in this phase of having all of the different, we've won different awards, we have a couple patents, we've done all the hard work, and now we just need to get the word out, and having this kind of reach is almost priceless. So
yeah, and that's the reason why I asked you to come on today, so I could share it with my audience here on my literally Michael channel, because I just, I love your work. I love your guys' tenacity. I know how hard you work, because I've done the same thing with our formulas and our company. And there's a lot of work that people don't even know that goes into it. And so just being in the background and understanding that, and being an entrepreneur and a designer myself, it's like, there's so many different things that pop up when you least expect it, that you're always having to, run and put out the fire, or you're like, I'm sure like they shared with you, like, oh, your sales are going to pop, need to get more inventory. Like, where do you draw that line with inventory? I do that. I have that issue all the time. It's like, okay, what level do I need to get all my products up to a certain level of inventory? Because you never know when something's going to like hit like you said, a viral or something like that. You have to be prepared for that, or be ready to go into, like, we're fortunate enough that we produce our own products, so we don't have to wait on manufacturers or anything like that. So we just keep a backlog of all the ingredients and all the products that take to build our product. But it's still just to be able to have that understanding that you have that backing, just in case that, or when that does happen, that you have that supply for the demand that may hit anytime. And that's one of the things, being an entrepreneur, that a lot of people don't even talk about, is like, understanding that supply and demand, and knowing that you have to be ready for it. You have to be ready to jump when you could jump. And especially when you have a product like yours that has to go through a manufacturing progress, it makes you have to have so much inventory always on hand. So one of the really special moments about the show that we haven't really talked about just yet, you guys, is the fact during the show. So you've got 3 or 4 people that are on the show, and they have to get at least, 10 people to raise their hand before they even get to go to the panel to actually discuss with the panel to see if they'll even bring it onto Amazon. And like Carrie said, when her clock stopped, it was 88, and then they asked them to reveal the price. And like she said, and I saw this throughout the shows and all the different people pitching their products, is like sometimes they would give the price, and the price would be like, even I felt like it would either be too high or like, oh, spot on, or it was too low. It wasn't, there was a couple times where I thought it was a little low, but then there was one that kind of did a trick on you, and I'll talk about that in a second. But once you say that, a lot of people then that 88 would reduce, but you heard that Carrie's number popped up to 96. Was it again?
92.
92, and that's big because there wasn't many. And I mean, I watched all the shows. I think I'm missing a couple of the shows, but through it all, I think there was just a few people that actually climbed up beyond what they were, where they started. So I was so happy to see that. And so one of the best things about this show too is like Amazon's really doing this, and I'm sure they're doing it one for their pocketbook as well, because it's producing more product and more cutting edge product for their showcase called Buy It Now. But also, the one thing I really liked about it is there are on the panel, there seems to be always one person from Amazon there, along with other entrepreneurs. And their attention to you guys was so beautiful because they were really sitting there to support you, and they were really giving you incredible feedback. And then, at the end of the show, and Carrie mentioned this to me when she was telling me about the show, that, she couldn't tell me much about it, but she'd give me, just to entice me to make sure I watched it. She would say, oh, then there's this, and then there's this. Well, one of the things is that there's like a grand prize of $20,000 to one of the participants. And I'm thinking, like, out of the season, there's like how many people, like 3 people per show. Let's say there's 12 shows, you've got 36 people. So out of 36 people, you have a chance to win $20,000. No, it's per show. And what was so beautiful, Carrie and Kat walked away with the $20,000 last night. And I love that. How did you feel when that happened? Were you just like, ah?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. My daughter and I were both convinced somebody else was gonna win. It's just one of those things. We didn't think it was going to be us. So when they, I think Jamie said something about tails are wagging, and I'm just like, what? I couldn't believe it. It was crazy.
Yeah,
And we had a little,
gave it away for her. Yeah.
We had a little family watch party last night, and a couple of my siblings were here, and niece and nephew and that kind of stuff. So having the reveal happen in front of them, and then it was just like everybody was like, ah! So that was so much fun. I felt like, again, I was going to pass out when they announced that we won. The first time my knees got all shaky, I was like, what? So it was just a validation again that all of the hard work that we've done for the last 5 years, is paying off. And just a wild surprise.
I mean, how beautiful is that with your family there, and all of a sudden for them to see, because I know they've been watching you during this whole process of you building Spleash, putting it together, getting your website, doing the branding, reformatting, and I'm sure, how many iterations of Spleash did you? No, of
Spleash itself. There were probably 5 different 3D printed versions that we went through, and we went into production with one, and that one had some issues with leaking, which we talked about on the show, and it took us a year to get over that. And we just had to remove. We had a really beautiful, I have to say, it was really beautiful inlay of teal, softer, rubbery material on the handle, and it really just popped. And but when the product is made, you have to ultrasonically weld the 2 halves together, and some of that softer material was just creating teeny tiny pinhole pathways for the water to leave.
Oh, wow.
And so we tried everything to maintain that sort of comfort grip on the device, and it just wasn't going to work out. So we had to remove that, and then this is the final version. We've been working on another one. I don't know if we're going to make it a reality or not. It's just I had no idea. I mean, you think about all the different little toy squirt guns and things like that out there. Oh, they can get these to be leak proof for the most part, the more expensive ones at least. And but what you don't think about, and what's super critical, you're holding a leash with it, and the dog can be like Lola, pull like a freight train, headed downhill when she sees something she wants to go after. And sometimes that's not in the direction you're walking. Sometimes it's over to the side and you're holding it straight on. So you need that to be able to withstand the torque, all those different forces pulling on it. To not have the cam wheel or the leash pop out. So we did pull a truck with it. We have it on our TikTok channel. My nephew actually is the one pulling the truck, well, one-handed even and it
Wow.
was not downhill or anything like that. So it was quite the accomplishment. But Spleash held up to that, and we also ran it over with a truck. Just to show people how sturdy the plastic is, and it's incredibly light. I wish there was a way to really communicate how light it is when it's empty, but it is very well engineered so that it can withstand the odd drops or the dog pulling in different directions, because we wanted to have this be not a throwaway gimmick. We want it to be your crucial go-to watering device for your dog that you use on every walk or hike. And, in addition to cleaning their paws and spraying their bellies down when it's hot outside and spraying off-leash animals when they come up at you, it's also good to cool you down while you're, if it's hot out
Right. I was
there
going
and
to
you're
say
going
you
on a
use it as
run.
well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can spray it on yourself. I found that I walk my two little dogs too with it. We have, they're both, there's one right there actually. You can see her down by the TP.
Oh yeah. Hanging out down there.
In a little ball right now. But walking her and her sister Coco, they're both Chihuahuas mixes. But when they see something that they want to go after to eat or investigate more closely, and you don't want them to get that item, you can get there much faster with a squirt of the water than your hands can to get the dog out of the way. And you have to investigate what your dog is motivated by, because you could trigger a prey instinct if you say they were going to go investigate a leaf or something that had I don't know, drop piece of ham on it. If you spray it and that moves, it could trigger the prey drive and your dog could go after it more. In my case, it freaks the dogs out and they run the opposite direction. So you just have to test with your dog what their reaction is going to be to unexpected movement on the ground. But that water can really keep I would say most dogs away from investigating the thing that just moved or sprayed a little bit of, the bounce back water will come back and get on their whisker or their nose. And they're like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to see that thing anymore. So
No, but
it
it's
keeps them
such a
safe.
smart tool. Yeah, it's such a smart tool to have. And I wanted to just go back. It's like what we're talking about. It's like, how many, designs did you have to go through? And I know that it's part of the process. It's all about the process, because it's like how many packages that I went through, how many bottles I went through, testing and what worked, what didn't work. And, we had that one thing where, we were doing a child safety cap, and all of a sudden that created a leakage for us, and I was like, what, how could this be? But it is what it is. And so there's all these obstacles that you have no idea that are going to come your way that you have to overcome. And you've done such a brilliant job doing it.
This is one of those obstacles. We're still going to try. I mean, we're still trying to figure it out. You would think, and so I wanted to make it clear that this was not a retractable leash, because people think it's a retractable leash when they see it. And I don't know if you know, like out there, you listeners, viewers, in the dog world, there's people who are retractable leash people and people who aren't. And retractable leashes are actually sort of outlawed in 25 of the 50 states. So that's why we really decided not to include a leash standard with it. We wanted it to be something you could add to your favorite leash. Everybody usually has a leash already. So, but we wanted to make it clear that it wasn't a retractable. And I thought, well, if we made one that is clear, where people can see that it is just water rolling around inside, then that would solve it. And it kind of looks cool, right?
Cool,
Like,
right?
it looks really cool. We had a great reaction to a TikTok that we put up. I don't know, got I think that one has like 1.8 million or something views. And but who knew that black plastic welds differently than clear plastic? And we have tried so many different frequencies and melting points and types of additives to put in it, so that, again, it won't leak, and it will hold together well enough to withstand the torque, the pull, the forces going side to side, and that kind of thing. So this is still a work in progress, but I would just love to be able to bring this version to
It's a
market.
hard one. I get it. It's a hard one because, like, I remember our first box that we did, and I don't have one here, but my first box, I was just like, so it had to be perfect. It had to be like this perfume box, and it had to be so beautiful. But by the time I got done with it, it was like $10 per box.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that I led myself down that route because I had put my ego into it and I wanted it to be so special. But when I started asking people what they were doing with the boxes once they received them, they were telling me that a lot of times they were getting tossed out. And I started thinking about, oh, well, that's not very green.
Yeah.
That's not part of my mission, is like have something that's getting tossed out all the time. So then I, went back to the drawing board and brought down the price 100% almost.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy once I just got my ego out of it. And sometimes you have to kind of like leave it out of it, because really when the product speaks for itself, like your product does today, yeah, the clear one's kind of cool. I've mentioned that to you before. I think it's kind of sexy, cool. But there are those mechanics of like the plastic doesn't work the same as black plastic.
Yeah.
But who knew?
Yeah.
You know?
I certainly did. I thought it was going to be just, I want to do it in clear now, change the color, boom, we're done. It's produced and off. But yeah, the properties in the clear plastic that we use, or that we've tried, versus the black are vastly different. I'm so much more well versed in types of plastic now that I never thought I have so
I
much
know.
knowledge in my brain now that I just never thought I would ever need to know. But that's kind of the adventure of being an entrepreneur. I mean, the day that I thought of this idea, I remember clearly coming back home, talking to my daughter about it, and she's like, "Yeah, that actually would be a really good idea, but I'm sure it exists already. Let's look it up." So we started searching Google and Amazon and all of these different things and couldn't find anything like it. And you just think, well, okay, all these people do it on Shark Tank all the time. I'm going to do it too. And you just don't know what you're getting into until you're neck deep in it and figuring out, okay, I need to have the right kind of e-commerce platform, and I need to figure out the right UPC labels and how do you register them, and I need to get a patent and trademarks. And I mean, the list just goes on and on and on of things that have to be figured out. And if you hadn't run a business before this, like I hadn't, it's a lot of work, but hopefully the end result is, at least I know I brought an award-winning um, product to market, and it didn't exist before. It exists now, and I'm super proud of my daughter and I, and she really is the creative force behind our company. She's our creative director, from designing, like, here's our box. It's, it's not that fancy, but she drew all of these for us. She created our logo for the company. She did the logo for Spleash itself. She does all our copywriting, and she's just so creative. So the two of us together, I do all of the businessy stuff, and she does all the creative stuff. We're a good team together. So, and we get to have fun with dogs all the time.
Well, and it's like a family that but sticks together, stays together, or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
I see you guys. I see you guys on the road, in the road shows and all that. You guys are always, you're teaming up, and it's like it's important to have, like, I'm lucky that I have Serge, and Serge is always there, and he's always, he's always like stepping in, doing this, doing that creatively, and just doing our Instagram posts and all that. And it's a lot of work. And I, like, when I first start my whole, we first started our company, it's like my whole mission came from doing a pet rescue and being at the pet rescue event, raising money for pugs. I started hearing all the pet parents just kind of just like, they were all saying the same thing about taking their pet to the vet. It costs so much money. And it's like every time they go, it's so much money just to walk in the door, and then it's a visit, and then it's any test, and then it's, then the medication, and it's mostly always Western medication. And I was like, oh God, there's got to be something better. And there wasn't, there wasn't anything out there. So when I got into it, I was like, I was there because of the mission of bringing, a wellness solution to pet parents across the United States. But I had no idea what I got myself into, from like what you're talking about, from the packages to the interior bottle to, we want everything to be holistic, everything's all natural. We want to have complete control of it. We do third party testing where we get our herbs.
Third party testing. Yeah, it was one I missed. Does it contain lead? There's requirements for each state? Like, there's just so much to it. And I have to say, the poo poo problems product that you guys have is phenomenal. It works like a charm every time. If your dog has an upset tummy and is getting a little runny, man, the little dose of that, it's
amazing.
It is truly amazing. It's one of those products that you don't believe it's going to work as well as it does till you try it, and then you're hooked. So
yeah, well, and that's one product that I always say to people. It's like, because people say, well, which one should I get? And I'm like, what's going on with your pet? And when they're like, well, my pet, everything seems to be fine. I'm like, well, the one you want to have at home at all times is super problems, because if they get into something and they get diarrhea, you don't want to have to leave your house, go run around, figure out what your number one, what are you going to buy? Are you going to go get pumpkin? What are you going to do? Are you going to have to try to go to, emergency care for a vet, all that, so much money and all that time. And during that time, what are they doing? They're pooping everywhere. So you want to nip it in the butt right in the beginning. So, to have poo-poo problems on your shelf at home for your pet is like one of our key products. I say everybody must have it in their house. So, just getting back to your product once again, how exciting, you won the $20,000, and like a lot of people are like, wow, $20,000. And, in this business, you guys doing what we do, $20,000 really doesn't go that far, but it's just like, it's just the fact that you got the honor of winning that and having the best product of the night, and that you made it into the Buy It Now store. I just congratulate you, and just, everything I see you doing all the time. And we have many conversations behind the scenes all the time about what you're up to, what our newest struggles are, because we both have them. Any entrepreneur has the struggles, and those are part of the expansion of your product. If you don't have the struggles, you're maybe not doing something right, because you should be having some struggles, because that's what makes it perfect.
Yeah.
So everybody.
It takes a community. It takes a community. It takes, like, there's different people that you engage with on your road, on your journey, and helping each other out. And you've been a tremendous source of help and support for us, and we appreciate you so much. And we've had the opportunity to engage with so many other entrepreneurs in the same boat, and like different, same struggle, different time, different struggle, same time, those kinds of things. And it is just really nice to have somebody that knows kind of exactly how hard it is and what you're going through to have that ear open for you. It's
Right.
really
Yeah,
nice.
to walk you out. Yeah, to walk you away from pulling your hair out. You
Yes,
know, it's
exactly.
like, you know,
I
it's
was a
like, and I'm
brunette when I started.
right. Yeah, me too. We were
I
both
was.
brunettes when we started, right? I love that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight, just so that
Yep.
we get this out there and everybody gets a chance to see Spleash once again. Do you want to hold up your box again, show everybody your box,
Yep.
and tell them
This-
how they can find you? And
There we go. This is the Spleash. We're available on spleash.com. We're also on Amazon Prime on, Amazon on the Buy It Now store. Uh, we're on Tractor Supply Company. There's all kinds of places you can find us. So it is the perfect gift. It's great for traveling with your dog. If you have to go to the airport or your long car ride, it's perfect. Just flip open the cup, squirt in a little bit, have a sip. They drink it all. You don't have any issues. Just ready to travel and have fun adventures with your pup.
yeah, it's a great stocking stuffer, everybody. You know, I'm sure if you pick it up tonight, by this week and all that, you'll have it by Christmas time.
Mhm.
It's a great gift to give. You know, I've given so many away that she's gifted me, just to, you know, share with the community that I work with the rescues I work with, and everybody I give it to. The reviews are just endless. They just love it, love it, love it. So everybody, just check out Leash if you have a dog. This is part of your toolbox for your dog, and we need all these different tools to keep our pets safe. So check it out. Check out Spleash.com. Carrie, thank you so much for being here. I adore you. You know that. I love you.
Love
And
to Serge.
yeah, I'll say hi to Serge, and
Yeah.
we will see each other soon, talk to each other soon. Congratulations on your big win last night. Everybody check it out. Buy it now on Amazon. Go watch it. And thumbs up for Carrie and her daughter, Kate. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye,
Thanks,
Michael.
everybody. Have a beautiful night. Bye.
Bye.